Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wings Mobile Detailing Business and Automotive Podcast. Today, we're talking auto detailing. It's been a while. Last podcast that we did was in business, and this one I'm talking about the cool stuff of detailing. You guys know Grit Guard used the two bucket method. A lot of people use one bucket method with the Grit Guard. There's all these gadgets and nice little things for detailing, which I definitely want to cover. So stay tuned after the introduction.
Welcome to the Wings Mobile Detailing Business and Automotive Podcast, the only podcast that will guide you on how to start and grow six-figure companies. As our team expand from one business location to worldwide domination, you will get step-by-step insights from a millennial franchisor and franchise owner with your host, Andre Mezzalera.
The most used, I don't know if it can be considered a gadget, but you know, as detailers, we like to use a detail brush to do the hard surfaces inside the vehicle. We use, the towels, the microfiber rags, obviously, and then those very soft bristle detail brush so we can get in between the vents and everywhere inside the car to detail it. I like to use a dry brush, dust everything off, and a wet brush, so I always like to have at least two brushes to do the interior. And they are nice because they are soft. You can get all in between the crevices, the cup holders. I spray some interior cleaner in there in the detail brush, and then I can agitate inside the cup holders of the car, all the crevices, nooks, and crannies. Detailing is different than a car wash because it's more detail oriented. It's better service. It's cleaner. Usually, it costs a little bit more, and therefore we have to use better tools. Even the tools for the vacuum cleaners as well that we use, the accessories, the vacuum hose, we use a very thin accessory and then a large one. I like to use two at least. One that's large that can get to bigger surfaces, like a trunk of the car, and then the crevice tool that we can get in the crevices. But car wash normally, they don't have those tools. I like to get those from Home Depot. I'm not gonna go where we get those. But it's different. It's different in detailing because you have all those little tools that you use in order to perform a nice job. Now, the more expensive tools are the actual hardware, the equipments. Not just the vacuum cleaner, which everybody uses, but for detailing, they have water extractor, the hot water extractor where used to shampoo vehicles sometimes. Steamer, steam cleaning, usually car wash, you don't have those steamers, but we use steamers. Detailers, we like to use steamers. We blow pressure steam in between the crevices, hot water steam, and that makes it, you sanitize the complete interior of the car, and it's nice to use that. As detailers, I like to blow that all in between the crevices, and you see everything just coming out. You're cleaning it well. Your shampooing is super nice and really sanitized when you use this steamer. It's fun to use. It's fun to be a detailer. Now, this biggest one that I want to talk more about is the foam cannon. That foam cannon, as you detailers already know, it's what you use to put soap on a car before you start mitting it, washing it. So we always like to rinse the car off with water, pressure washer, and then use the foam cannon. But we don't use it every time. Foam cannon is nice for videos, especially. As you guys know, I do YouTube videos, and I have those foam cannons that we use for the videos sometimes. But we don't use it for every wash. It looks nice, but is it really necessary? You're putting soap in the car as opposed to putting soap in a car with the wash mitt. And you're going to tell me, but it's better because when you... And indeed it can be better if you foam cannon the car before just putting the wash mitt. Obviously, it is better. It's an extra step. And when you put soap on the car and let it sit for a while, the soap is kind of going to grab the heavier grime that's on the surface of the paint. That's all it is for. It's not gonna grab the fine grime, the fine dirt, because that one is usually stick to the paint, and just the foam cannon, it doesn't grab it. It really doesn't. It's just soap sliding down the car. Let's be real here. But foam cannon is nice to get the heavier one, because the heavier one is it's not stuck to the surface of the paint of the car. And so that is nice because you spray it. However, as I said, I pressure wash the car before, and I'm not hating on foam cannons. I love them. I love to use. I love to do videos on them. A lot of times I don't use them because I know it's just to make it look nice, because it's not really necessary. And the reason I say that it's not really necessary is because when I'm pressure washing the car, rinsing the car off, the heavier grime that's on the surface of the paint, that's gonna come off. It's not gonna be there. And the foam cannon, then what's the next step? Why would you use foam cannon? To lube the car, have some suds in there before you go with the wash mitt. But you're gonna have suds on the car anyways with the wash mitt. So if rinsing the car gets the surface grime off, and you use the rinsing method to get the heavier grime, and then use the wash mitt with soap already on the car, bam, you made it. Now, for newer cars, and guys, message me on Instagram. We're on YouTube. You can send me a text message under Wings Mobile Detailing. I'm sure you find the number there with what you think about this podcast. I'm just sharing my opinion and what I think about foam cannons. If you're new to detailer, especially for you guys who's new to detailing, I'm sure this would help. I wish at the beginning I had somebody tell me this, because most times a lot of detailers may think, oh, do I need a foam cannon when I'm starting off, or ever? Do I need a foam cannon every time? At times, if you do a very exotic, nice car and you want to be extra cautious, you always want to use, let's say, a 2-bucket method. If you want to be extra cautious with the grit guard inside the bucket, you also may use the foam cannon, because it's an extra step, and it helps to, as I said, get the heavier grime off even after you rinse the car off. Do the foam cannon, rinse the car again, and wash mitt. If it's a super expensive car, go ahead and do it. Have one. You don't have to buy super expensive foam cannons. But if you like to have one, yes, it's not the end of the world if you don't have one. At the same time, you know how there are different brands, different everything about foam cannons, and I've used some in the lower end brands where you pay about $25-$30 for a foam cannon, and they don't last much. They even come with the trigger for the pressure washer, and they don't last as long. They really don't. But if you want to buy one of those and you don't use it much, that's what I do. I don't buy the super expensive ones, and they last. They'll last because I won't be using much. Now, they do have the more expensive foam cannons, and I'm going to talk real quick about soap that I like to use on foam cannons. Normally, when you foam cannon the car, they sell Chemical Guys or Meguiar's. They sell different types of automotive soap. They have the Honeydew Snow Foam Auto Wash. That's a soap that you put in the foam cannon. They have different, a variety. They have that watermelon type of soap. Now, the regular soap that I do use to wash cars, not the foam cannon, but that I use regularly, it's the Chemical Guys Citrus Washing Gloss. I love the soap because it's concentrate. It costs a little bit more than let's say, the Honeydew foam soap. Just a little bit more. It's just, I think it may be just about the same price, actually. But I like that the citrus washing gloss because it has more of a wash action on it. So it's better to wash. For me, it cleans better. And why is that? Because you use that specifically, that soap, to wash with a wash mitt. And it's more heavy. Now, and you don't have to use a lot. Now, if you buy one of those soap to use on the foam cannon, the soap that you like to wash your car, you think it cleans well, you're probably going to have to put a lot more so that it foams up, because the purpose of the foam cannon is to create foam. Now, if you use a lot of the citrus washing gloss, for example, the soap that I use regularly, I have to use a lot more for it to create foam. But I know it's going to clean better because I just know. I've comparing to all the other soap, because let's say the Honeydew foam soap, it It's good for creating suds, but it doesn't have much of the cleaning agent in there. The focus is to create suds. Now, if you do use the honeydew foam, you're probably not going to have to use a lot for the foam to show up. And what also affects the foam, besides the durability of the foam cannon, the actual foam cannon, is the brand of the foam cannon you get. Some of them will create much more foam, much more thick foam. And usually those that are better brands from Gride's Garage, even Chemical Guys, they sell like $60, $70 foam cannon instead of $30. They are going to be better, yes. Now, if you tell me, do I need to get that one? As I said at the beginning, you might not need to, but if you want, go right ahead. They're going to be better. So that's my 1 cent, guys, on what I personally think about using foam cannon. If I do a ceramic coating service that I want to have that extra step of wash, before the ceramic, I will use foam cannon on my wash step. Do I use it because, I need to use it because I want to be extra safe? Yeah, in one side, but at the other side, if I don't use it, it's not like it's going to be the end of my world. Because I know I can really wash the car well, clay it with the wash mitt, do all the necessary steps. 2-bucket method, I like to use that. But to safely clean the car without scratching it. The foam can is just a little bit of an extra step, and it doesn't make a world of difference. But I still like to use sometimes, especially to film videos. I do some nice videos with the foam cannon on my YouTube channel. You guys can check it out. But yeah, foam cannon wouldn't be the end of my world if I go, without it. It would not, even if I go without in a ceramic coating service, paint correction, doesn't matter. It's not as crucial as, let's say, an Iron X. Before you do the ceramic coating, you want to apply Iron X. That is needed. You want to clay the car. That's completely different. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Next week, we're probably going to be in the topic of business again and continue on the auto detailing and business topics. We cover everything. Check out the YouTube channel that I'm posting videos every now and then. We have some cool videos of the company as well.